podcast. I am Morbid Sunshine. I look up documents, evidence, facts, interested in politics, crime, or daily publications, anything. I look up anything. And I've looked up in the Virgin Islands something of Jeffrey, a trial demand by jury, a complaint that was made in St. Thomas. Comes now the government of the New United States, the Virgin Islands government, and files this complaint against the above named defendants, and support thereof would show up to the cause as follows. That makes sense to you? Well, let's go ahead. Jurisdiction and parties: the Attorney General and the United States Virgin Islands, hereinafter Virgin Islands, brings this action on behalf of the plaintiff, the government of the Virgin Islands, pursuant and her statutory authority to enforce the laws of the Virgin Islands, and advocate the public interest, safety, health and well-being of the persons in the Virgin Islands. The court has subject matter jurisdiction over this civil matter pursuant. 3. The court has personal jurisdiction over the parties pursuant. 4. The Virgin Islands is an incorporated territory of the United States. It consists of St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John and Water Island, and more than 40 surrounding islands and cays, and some of which are privately owned. Among these privately owned islands are Little St. James and St. James, Great St. James. Jeffrey Epstein was a resident of the Virgin Islands, and he maintained the residence on Little St. James, which he acquired in 98 to 2016. He also purchased Great St. James. Wow. Epstein registered as a sex offender in the Virgin Islands in 2010. He was a Tier 1 offender under the Virgin Islands law based upon the Florida conviction of the procuring of a minor for the reason of prostitution. As a Tier 1 offender, Epstein required to register annually at the Virgin Islands Department of Justice and give advance notice of his travel to and from the Virgin Islands. Epstein was also subject to random address verification by the government. Epstein was found dead on August 10, 2019, while in custody in New York for his crimes. Defendant Epstein created upon Epstein's death his domiciles in the Virgin Islands. On August 15th, the executors of the estate, Darren K. Dyke and Richard Kahn, filed a petition for probate and letters of testamentary, which included Epstein's last will and testament with the probate for provision of Superior Court of the Virgin Islands. Petition reports the value of the real estate and the personal property of Epstein located in the Virgin Islands at an estimate 577 million and or billion and 60. Wow, that's a big number. According to the petition of the assets, Virgin Islands thus far includes 56 million in cash. B. 127 million in fixed income and equity investments. We'll break that down in the next one. 195 million in hedge funds and private equity investments, and D, 18 million in planes, boats and automobiles, and the estate has not yet valued its fine art and antiques and other valuables yet. The estate also includes a share of various corporate entities which hold residence in the real property used by Epstein, namely. Okay, now these are his homes now. Brownstone in New York City valued at 56 million. The ranch in New Mexico valued at 72 million. Gated home in Palm Beach, Florida valued at 12 million. 7 units in an apartment building in Paris valued at 8 million. And Great St. James and Little St. James collectively valued at 86 million. The estate is responsible to pay damages for the acts committed by Epstein and the Epstein enterprise described below. This is where it gets crazy. Defendant, the 1953 trust, the trust, was created by Epstein, who amended and restated its terms only 2 days before his suicide. That same day, Epstein revised his last will and testament, transferring all of his property, real and personal, wherever situated, to the trust. 14. The trust also contains Epstein's financial assets and is also responsible to pay damages for the acts committed by Epstein and Epstein Enterprise described below. The trust administrators Darren K. Dyke and Richard D. Kahn filed a certify of trust in the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands for the trust on the 26th of 2019. So that was very quick. 15. Epstein maintained a deliberately complex web of Virgin Island corporations, limited liability companies and foundations and other entities, not all of which are yet known. Now, we're going to go through like the police report in a minute, you know, what led up to his death. But finding it. I think it was on my files actually, hang on. Things I have in my files is ridiculous. Yeah, that's it. Right, this is where it gets tricky with everything, right? He's like never been suicidal, right? Never had depression, never had anything like that. And I found this online. Right, so where he is, he's being, you know, put in this prison till he goes to court, you know. His address is in the Virgin Islands, Southern Trust Comp. For some reason, they're putting that his brother. All his fingerprints and stuff. Listed here as an offender. Okay. Nothing mentioned yet about it, you know. Okay. And it says here, right, I don't know when I stated this, but it's so weird that it's in here to begin with. Identification data, special caution and medical remarks, suicidal tendencies, mental concerns. Now I don't know if they put that because he's an FBI arrest. So we've been there 2 months. What I'm trying to work out is the date that this was done. Okay, so that's here, passport number. He just renewed his passport. It's just really strange how he's got like that on his thing, you know, just print there like that, like it's not suicide. And that's on the day he was found. Naturally. He was arrested on the 8th month. Died on the 7th month. Oh yeah, you do backwards there, don't you? Okay. So he wasn't in custody for even more than 3 days there, was he? 3 days. Boarded 33. Okay, but that's not telling me that. Is it? Yes, it is telling me that. I apologise. Yeah, he was there a month. So he was there 33 days. I'm not really saying that like, oh poor Jeffrey. No, on the contrary, I just wish we knew more about what happened on the island and what was going on, what network who is he doing this for, the mob, who? Just who, you know, why wasn't certain people investigated further, you know? With more answers, and not bothered who's on the plane really, and who's behind all this, you know? He got him to do so much whistling around girls, it's disgusting, you know. It's not all just for Jeffrey, it's got to work at some point, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, I found that really odd. No, doesn't seem a suicidal type. Even his brother has admitted it does sound wrong, you know. Not saying his brother's a good person either, you know, but provided the appropriate medical care, just medical bills and healthcare. Not really. Well, yeah. Yeah, medical care cards, he had all kinds of them. And they arrested him. So, it does lead me to think that because he was so wealthy and so in tune with what he was doing naturally, who's doing this now? Who's doing all this for him? You know, all the capital, all the things that are not going to the victims, you know. And I think paying for people to be quiet. I mean, look, what happened to Virginia? You know, look how quickly they got rid of her. You know, because it's only a matter of time. You know, that a lot more will come out. And yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm looking for it. I'm not gonna I'm not suicidal. I'm not problems with myself. I'm not gonna stab myself in the chest or anything weird. I have too much to live for. I've got a beautiful family, so why would I do that? So think about that if anything happens to me. But less of the violent action, and I'll see you next time.